Hello, everyone. I just wanted to talk about a few things though that I had on my mind. I was watching a lot of Dragon Ball Super, and it's actually not a bad series though. I had my doubts at first though, but it's actually not too bad. It's kind of like with Dragon Ball Z Kai, where I thought it wasn't really going to be good, and then when I watched it more, it turns out it actually was pretty good, and in some ways better than the original. In Dragon Ball Super though, I guess. There was always a few things that kind of bothered me though on this one, even though it's a really good show though. A lot of the things that I liked about it, though, I think the best thing about the show is the fact that almost everyone is useful in some way, shape, or form though, and characters like Master Roshi are starting to become more useful though, and that's great to see though. But and it's actually nice to see them do something though instead of just sit around on the sidelines mostly being in awe of the battle and occasionally once in a blue moon do something useful though, but they're actually doing something. Even Master Roshi's in the tournament right now, so but one of the things that always kind of bothered me about that show was the fact that there was few things that I thought was kind of inconsistent. And we'll just start out with some of the nitpicks, so like with Bulma's hair and stuff, where it was blue, even though before it was really more of like a turquoise, and in a manga I think it was purple, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but I mostly just saw the black and white stuff, though I didn't really pay too much attention to the colored versions of the manga. I just looked at the black and white pages, though, but it was turquoise from what I remember, and then it became blue. And Kid Trunks has purple hair, but Future Trunks has blue hair, even though he used to have purple hair in the series, though. And I was kind of wondering, maybe did Bulma dye it? And I guess I wouldn't be really surprised because she's changed her hairstyle more than any other anime character that I've ever seen. So it really wouldn't surprise me if she actually did dye her hair, and it kind of makes me wonder, did Trunks dye his hair too, though? And I thought, well, maybe, I guess. I'm not really sure what would possess him to do that, but and especially since other people have said that as he got older, though, his hair color changed, which I thought was kind of strange, though, because if Super is now considered canon, it's actually, and the thing I found strange about it is that if it's supposed to be canon, and we know that at the end of Z, with Oob, that's supposed to be canon too. Of course, that's in the manga. You saw Bulma's hair, which is turquoise, at the end of there, and Trunks, who's now a grown up, is does have purple hair though, so it doesn't change blue or anything. So I thought that was sort of a mess up thing, and I thought maybe they decided to make Future Trunks' hair blue to make him not like an exact copy of present Trunks hair. And I thought, well, there was a better way that we could have done this. So I think it should have been just left the way it was. I would just have Bulma have turquoise hair, present Trunks and Future Trunks have purple hair, but instead of having the same hairstyles for both Trunkses, it would have been better if you had Future Trunks have his long hair, which I think actually looks better on him. I think he actually looks better with long hair, though, especially if he's looks like the way he did in BoJack Unbound. If he looked like that in Super, that actually would have been pretty cool, though. So, but and another thing about it is Vegeta's kind of going backwards though, as far as character development. And I always thought it was strange because at the end of Z, or near the end of Z, though, he admits that Goku is better than him. He ends his rivalry. I mean, he's not best buddies with him like Krillin is, but he's not an asshole, or as much of an asshole about it. So, but here he just kind of does sort of a 180 though, and decides to be a rival again. And I guess I get it. I get why they wanted to do that though, so they can kind of make it interesting. And he actually has a reason to be, or I guess I guess maybe the power kind of went to his head though, because before he couldn't even turn Super Saiyan 3, and now his power is actually kind of close to Goku's since they can both turn Super Saiyan Blue. So I guess that's why he thought, maybe he'll try to beat him and stuff. And I don't know. I just thought it was kind of dumb though. It kind of takes away his character development and everything. especially in the resurrection of F, which I also think is kind of a dumb title, though. You could just call it Resurrection of Frieza, or Frieza Lives Again, or Frieza's Revenge, sort of like an homage to Cooler's Revenge, though. So, um, I always thought it was kind of weird that Vegeta would actually try to attack Frieza. Not Frieza, but he would try to attack Goku. Vegeta was actually attacking Goku because he wanted to fight Frieza first, and I thought, what? What's going on here? I mean, this is something that Cell Saga Vegeta would do, though, not right now after nearly a decade later, where he's supposed to have mellowed out. When at this time, he already kind of gave up his life, to save his kid, Trunks, and and everyone else, and even knowing full well that he's no longer going to exist anymore. By being reincarnated, having his memories erased and everything, which I also thought was kind of strange too. I thought they would do the same. That's why I thought it was kind of weird that Frieza was even being brought back to life in the first place, though, because as far as I know, I thought the Dragon Balls would only be able to bring back someone within a year, and it says it in the manga right there too, though. And I thought maybe did they upgrade it or something? Did they change something? Or I mean, even if they did, I mean, I always thought that the afterlife, Piccolo already explained how it works. He said that you basically go to a different place, you have your memories erased, and then you reincarnate into another body. Though I don't know how long the process it really takes, but apparently it doesn't take too long, because at the end of the Buu saga, or near the end of the Buu saga, like 10 years later happens, and then you see Oob, who looks like he's about 10 years old, or maybe 11 years old at most, but he looks pretty young. So I don't know, I thought it was kind of strange that they did that for Frieza, especially since the way they brought him back was kind of dumb. I thought it was kind of weird that they would just kind of bring him back to life in pieces, when he was in his cyborg form. Like Shenron couldn't put him back, and I thought, well, maybe because he was technically alive at that time, though. He was technically alive before he was actually obliterated by Future Trunks, and that's why he's the way he was, because that's what he looked like the last time he looked, before he was obliterated. And I thought, well, Tien was also, he kind of, killed himself when he was trying to fight Nappa and everything, but he lost his arm, but he got his arm back. But that was within the Mechian Dragon Balls and stuff. So I don't know, maybe if that changes, there's some different rules for that, or whatever. But then again, all the Saiyans should have their tails back too, though. But I guess Akira Toriyama forgot about that as well. So I always thought that was kind of strange, though. But the best thing I liked about Z was the fact that everyone is being used for, at least most people. I still don't know why Yamcha or Chaozu or Yajirobe, for that matter, are not really fighting as much as they should, though, because Master Roshi can get this massive power increase, and everyone else seems to be getting these massive power increases out of nowhere, and I'm trying to figure out, why is everyone getting so strong all of a sudden? It can't be that they're just training really hard. I mean, they're getting these absurd amount of power. They're getting this absurd amount of power out of nowhere, seemingly, though. I mean, I'm not complaining too much, though, because I'm glad that they're actually, getting stronger, though, so they can actually do something, though, like with Master Roshi. But if Master Roshi can, fight, I don't see why Yajirobe, Yamcha, and Chaozu, all those people who were actually stronger than Master Roshi, worlds above Master Roshi at that time, couldn't really actually fight. I always thought it was kind of strange that they didn't use them as much. I mean, they still can. I just don't know. I don't know. I thought it was kind of dumb, but it is kind of not nice to see at least some of the other characters like Tien and Krillin and everyone else actually fight. It's good to see 17 again. And it's good that they're all fighting together, though, because, seeing most of those guys not fight, it would be like the equivalent of seeing the Justice League, being reduced down to just two characters, like where Superman and Wonder Woman, fights, and everyone else just kind of stands in the sidelines. And it kind of makes me wonder, why is everyone else even there just to spectate, and that's it, But I guess another thing that also bothered me was Kibito Kai, being defused, though, and I thought the whole thing was kind of pointless, though. Where he's fused, he fused into Buu Saga and then he defused with the Dragon Balls because they thought it was strange. It felt strange, even though previously he actually liked being fused. I mean, he was kind of surprised the effects were permanent, but he, was so into, this power up that he was actually willing to fight alongside with Goku to fight an even more powerful version of Majin Buu, when he was well known for basically wanting to stay away from Majin Buu. He didn't want to have anything he didn't really want to fight him though, unless he absolutely had to. But he was pretty scared to fight Buu though, and for good reason. But I don't know. I thought he should have stayed fused though. I think it would have been better if he stayed fused. That way we could have maybe actually seen him fight, but it also would have set him apart from the other Supreme Kais. Aside from Old Kai, the other Kais, who aren't fused. It kind of would have made him stand out more though. I don't know. I thought he should have stayed fused, but. Another thing is that I didn't really like the fact that Vegeta was killed again by Frieza, in the Resurrection of F movie. I don't know, I thought it was just kind of pointless, though, just for him to get this power up and actually finally beat up Frieza, which is something that we all wanted to see at some point in time, though, after all the shit that Frieza put him through, though, and put his father through and everyone else. So it was actually satisfying to see him beat the shit out of Frieza, though. And I thought, well, maybe he's actually gonna, get his, time in the sun out there. He's actually gonna go ahead and defeat Frieza. But no, he ends up getting killed once again. And then they just end up rewinding time, and so Goku can deliver the finishing blow. I thought it was just kind of pointless, though, just to let Goku have the final blow. And I thought, everyone else was able to beat a major villain. Goku did, Gohan did, even Future Trunks did, with Frieza. So why not let Vegeta defeat Frieza, though? Especially, that's something that we all wanted to see, was a good rematch of them actually fighting each other, though. So, because before, though, we didn't really get to see him fight in the first form. When Frieza was in his first form, they just kind of grappled. And, when he turned into his fourth form, it was pretty much one-sided at that point. And, I don't know, I guess that's just one of the things that I wanted to talk about, though. Those were just my thoughts on it. It's still a good series, though. And then I'll continue to keep watching it, though, and we'll be able to go from there. I might make more videos about it, and then I'll see you later.